and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on one volume each episode. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering Volume 48, Adventures of Oars, which covers chapters 460 through 470. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host, and joining me today, we have Evan.
Hello.
Yeah, so we have a skeleton crew here today. Yeah, skull joke.
But
but yeah, we want to keep things moving a little bit, and there's some exciting things to talk about. But yeah, let's just get a little recap from last volume, and then we can kind of go over that a little bit. Luffy's party made their way through Hogback's mansion and got split up while Nami's group encountered the zombie samurai Ryuma in Hogback's lab. They were defeated and were to be brought to Moria to have their shadows be taken, but the Risky brothers dropped their coffin and ran away in a panic. They found themselves in Perona's Plunder Garden, where they were attacked by the odd creatures until one of them started protecting Nami for some reason. Luffy's group started going missing one by one, as Sanji, then Zoro, went missing. They fought off the zombies as they tried to escape, but Luffy was captured to be brought to Moria. In the Wonder Garden, Nami noted the penguin dog that helped them, Inupe, acted just like Sanji. She met another one of Perona's creatures named Lola, who was obsessed with Absalom. After settling that Nami isn't interested in marrying Absalom, she gave them the opening to run while Absalom pursued. They hid in Perona's stuffed bear Kumasi, who was forbidden from speaking anytime he attempted to give away the Strat's hiding spot. They had front row seats as they saw Luffy was brought to Moria and had his shadow snipped from his body. Moria brought the shadow to the massive zombie Oars. The creature came to life, exhibiting Luffy's personality. Nami realized the zombies take on the personality of the person whose shadow was given to them. Due to how frightened they were, Nami, Usopp, and Chopper screamed, and they were found. They ran, but Absalom was able to capture Nami and have preparations be made to make her his bride. Frankie and Robin fought off the spider monkey Tarlon, but was only defeated once Brook arrived and purified the zombie to remove his shadow using salt. Brook explained that Moria cannot kill a person once they have taken their shadow, otherwise the zombie would die as well. Once the shadow is taken, the person will be brought to their ship and sent out, and wake up after 2 days. He suggested his friends help the crew before they are sent out without their shadows. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji were asleep on the ship after the shadows were taken. Usopp woke them up and told them that they need to get their shadows back and save Nami. Elsewhere, Brook decided to face off with the zombie who took his shadow, Ryuma. Frank revealed that he had asked why Brook continued to fight so hard after losing everything. He told the others that Brook was from the pirate crew that had met Laboon 50 years ago, and they were the ones that their royal friend had been waiting for. Now realizing their connection to Brook and having fulfilled both their promise to reunite their friend, Luffy is now even more determined to defeat Moria in order to have Brook join their crew. Whew. Okay, so a lot happened last volume.
I know. So much happens.
Yeah, so just give us some quick thoughts for last volume since you weren't on the episode.
Yeah, totally. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought this was like a really fun volume. And the first big highlight for me was Robin's ability when she uses the wing ability. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of game changing for her ability, like her devil fruit powers. So I'm very excited to see how that develops because that's very cool. The fact that she can sprout wings. I thought that was incredible. Looked awesome. Cool. And I'm very excited to see where that leads. Also the big reveal of Gecko Moria. Love the character design. I also really love his abilities, like the ability to sever somebody from their shadow and then to reanimate these Franken corpses into like living, breathing. I just think that was a really clever devil fruit ability. So it's kind of cool seeing that in action and kind of connecting a lot of the pieces on like why these different characters are acting the way they're acting. And I thought that was really, it's starting to make some sense, but I really enjoyed that character design and devil fruit power design. We also get Oars reveal.
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty epic.
Yeah, we'll get more of Oars in this one too.
Yep. What else? Brooks. We kind of get to see Brooks' shadow, and them kind of face off. So excited to see how that turns out. And then to end the chapter with the tie-in with Laboon, Brooks and Laboon, so good.
Yep.
I was like, oh my god, bringing it all the way back, all the way back. So that was a nice like seed that was planted and kind of paid off here. Enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's just like a perfect circumstance to go back to the Laboon storyline and find out more about the pirates who Laboon had met and like the promise that was made, and that Brooke wants to fulfill that promise still.
Yeah.
So that's
very touching. It's cool
motivation.
seeing that. Cool seeing that come full circle for sure.
Yeah, so it feels like just perfect fate that they came across Brooke, and that Brooke came across Luffy's crew in particular, who already is planning to go back to Laboon. So
yeah, love that. It's like Laboon, we know Laboon. No way, small world.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we had some exciting stuff last volume, and we have some exciting stuff this volume. We also have some less good stuff, but we'll get into it. So for now, let's move on to Enryu's Great Space Mission, Volume 26, Insolence. Enryu has defeated the space pirates and destroyed their equipment.
Without a shred of remorse, apparently.
Hey, they were asking for it.
Yep.
You did some quick work there.
Easy peasy for a god.
Okay, so after that long recap from last volume, I'm trying to make the summaries a little briefer. So if they seem a little shorter, I'm trying to spend less time doing that so we can get into more of the discussion. So hopefully, they feel a little quicker. So with that being said, chapter 460, Conquest Before Dawn. The Strat Pirates set out looking for the zombies who had their shadows, while Sanji will rescue Nami and Luffy, who will take care of Moria. Fearing the sun may come through the fog once daylight hits, they have to get their shadows back before dawn. As they head towards the mansion, Oars decide to explore Thriller Bark. Yeah, so we kind of have like a game plan here. So now they know what they want to do. They decide to set out, and they kind of have like their own individual missions that they want to work towards.
Love it. Classic Oda. Separate into your groups. Let's get a little diagram to explain it, and off we go to execute the plan. Love it.
Yeah, I like how Zoro like volunteers to go with Frankie because like, I have to see this legendary samurai. Let's see what he's all about.
Yep. Excited for that matchup. Yep. I just love this world. This world is so fun. Like the very first panel of this whole chapter is this really cool shot of the castle, like the masked castle.
Yeah.
And I just love this like gothic cathedral kind of vibe. And just the theme throughout the whole volume. So good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looks like Frankie's still holding his little nunchuck. Well, not little, but like the big nunchuck thing from
oh yeah,
from last volume.
The build your own nunchuck.
You never know when you're gonna need it.
Yep. Yeah, this was a fun chapter to kick it off. Get some great shots of Oars as well. Oars coming down to crash the tower. Looks so good.
Yeah, a castle crasher.
And then the very last panel of the chapter, just like him looming over the straw hats, just looks so massive. So massive. Very intimidating creature.
Yeah, like at first, Zoro and Frankie think it's a wall, so they start attacking it, and then like Usopp's like, "What are you guys doing? You're attacking Oars." That's not a wall; it's the big zombie. And Luffy zombie being this massive like free spirit is we're starting to see. Okay, well, that's kind of like a recipe for a disaster because like how much destruction he's causing, like even to like throw a bark. So I mean, Warrior's probably not that concerned about it. But like it's causing a lot of chaos for everybody else around.
Yeah. I love how Oars' first like action is to climb to like the highest point and just get like a little outlook. Like I feel like that's such a Luffy thing. Like find a little place to nest and kind of observe your surroundings. Like that's such a Luffy move.
They find his perch.
Yep. It's really all I got.
Yeah, I mean not too much happens.
Yeah, it's just kind of setting it up.
Okay. Yeah, how about we just kind of move right along?
Okay.
Hey, Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 27, Gratitude for Avenging the Doctor. Lieutenant Spacey thanks Enru for defeating the ones who caused his creator to die.
Yeah, Enru just like decimated the moon, but has perhaps made some allies.
Yeah. He's like, who are you again? Do I know you? Yeah, not too much there either.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to chapter 461, Ghostbuster. The Strats split into two groups. Chopper and Robin stay behind to face Hogback, while Luffy finds Moria in the freeze room. Zoro, Usopp, Sanji, and Frankie make it past Oars to find Perona, who sends her ghost at each of them. All of them are affected by the negative hollow, except Usopp, who's immune because he is already negative to Perona's shock. Usopp decides to stay and fight Perona while the others move forward. Absalom is about to proceed with his marriage to Nami, even though she's unconscious.
This is a great chapter. First of all, I love Chopper standing his ground and taking this fight with Hogback. I feel like that kind of took Hogback's discretions personally, and I like how he chooses out this battle instead of kind of following Luffy's lead.
Yeah, so this is like personal for Chopper.
Yeah,
as a doctor, and for having respect for the name Hogback until he met the man. So now seeing what he's been up to this whole time, it's like I have to stand for what's right.
Yeah, it was nice seeing that from Chopper. And then moving on to Oars, getting a hat. Can't be pirate captain without a hat.
He takes like the part of the building off.
Yeah, just a huge chunk of building to wear it like a hat. It's pretty hilarious.
Oh, that fits just right. We see like the little like bubble showing like how he imagines that he looks like, just like the traditional pirate hat on.
Yeah, this is so funny, and just more of us being shown how Oars is so similar to Luffy and how they have the same personality.
Yeah,
love that. Oh, and then as the Straw Hats are fleeing, Frankie builds a makeshift bridge. That was hilarious. It's like this immaculate bridge that he built in an instant. It's got like railings, and that was really funny.
Yeah, he's like, cool. Let me make some adjustments here. I'm not happy with how it came out. It's like a perfect
yeah. So good. And then of course, Usopp taking on the ghosts. This had me cracking up. Like I was literally laughing out loud when this happened, especially the page turn where Usopp's yelling, "I'm already extremely negative," and Perona's reaction. I was dying. Like this was so good.
Yeah,
this was incredible. I thought this absolutely hit for me and was just absolutely hilarious. And it was kind of funny seeing Usopp in his element a little bit here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh wait, I got this."
Yeah, this I think this is my number one Usopp moment in the entire series.
Yeah.
This might be my favorite Usopp moment of all time.
This is it's incredible. I don't know. It'd be hard for me to top Usopp shooting down the flag. I think that's got to be.
Yeah,
that's got to be number one.
Yeah,
this was good though. This was very good. like I said, I was laughing out loud. Like this was hitting.
Just like everybody else is getting like wrecked by these ghosts, and like everybody's like falling to the ground, and then like Usopp's just kind of like he also reacts. He's like, "It's over," but like that's just his personality. It's like because like the ghost was affecting him, and then like he's like, "Oh, I'm fine, okay." Yeah, and then we have another example of like the Eneru shock face.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, so this has kind of become like a meme for One Piece when you see like these like shocked reaction faces.
This face.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said Eneru's, I'm like, oh yeah, and I can immediately picture this same shot for Eneru. Like, yeah, it's pretty memorable.
Yeah, so it's meant to you know, invoke the same like thing that that Eneru had. Just like
so
when the character is like in such disbelief about what's happening in the story that this could actually happen.
Yep.
Yeah, you usually see something like this.
So good. Yeah, that was a great page turn.
Yeah, and like you said, Usopp kind of stepping up here is like, okay, I'm qualified to handle this one because I'm immune to the ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Same as Chopper, also like standing up. Love it.
Yeah.
Two of our characters who we wouldn't consider like the warriors of the crew, both picking their battles here.
Yeah.
We got a Gatling Salt Star out of Usopp as well, which I feel like I was kind of talking about this 2 volumes ago, how like the crew seems to kind of be picking up on things that Luffy does, particularly in battle.
You're taking a Gum Gum Gatling influence.
Yeah, I feel like he's a Gatling, Gum Gum Gatling influence for sure. Or like, because Chopper had like the Gatling like Rosebud attack also.
Yeah.
Could be a little influence, maybe.
Could be.
You see enough Gum Gum Gatling guns successfully land, and you're like, okay, maybe we should try something out like that.
Yeah, and then we end this chapter on an icky note where like Absalom's trying to kiss the bride when Nami's sleeping. Like the zombies have to like hold her up, and Absalom's trying to like force his wedding.
So cringy.
Yeah. That's like the perfect word for it. So cringe.
Yeah, it's hard to look at.
And he's puckering his lips like a cartoon, like wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Gross. Yeah. Absalom's a pretty scummy guy.
Yeah.
0 redeeming quality.
Yeah, again, probably one of my least favorite characters in the series. So that says something.
Yep, that is saying something for sure.
Yeah, so you have anything else for this one?
I'm going to move on.
Okay, cool. Next part of the cover story. Eneru's Great Space Mission Volume 28. Attack now, ask questions later. Eneru zaps the soldiers who tried to thank him.
Man, this guy. I think he'd try to make some friends out on the moon, but no.
Like, why are you talking to me?
You had your shot. They would have worshipped you like a god. All you had to do was accept them.
Yeah, that's what he wanted, right?
That would have been a win-win for everybody.
Well, I guess we'll have to get more answers later. But for now, moving on to chapter 462, Adventures of Oars. Usopp declares nobody could be more negative than he is, even causing the ghost to fall into despair. Brook is defeated by Ryuma, but Zoro and Frankie arrive in time to help. Zoro notices a legendary blade that Ryuma carries, named Shusui. Zoro claims he will make it his. Absalom tries to complete the wedding ceremony, but cannot due to Oars shaking the entire island. Sanji arrives at the chapel in time to object to the wedding.
Ooh, I'm pretty hyped about this sword fight.
Yeah, I think this is the fight that I'm looking forward to the most here as well.
Yep, very hyped. And the illusion of a new legendary sword, because somebody is down a sword, and I have not forgotten. I've been very patiently waiting for something like this to happen.
Yep.
And so He's gone too long with 2 swords. I've like it's been constantly on my mind.
Every chapter.
So
Is this
every
chapter?
I'm like, when is he getting it back? I'm like, they better not brush this under the rug and just like have 3 swords again. Like it just needs to be like a ceremonial. Because especially when he got his swords in way back when, was it Lockdown?
Yeah.
They made such a big deal about the selection of the swords, and I was like eating that up. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I love everything about this. And we haven't really gotten much of that since then.
Yeah.
So it's kind of exciting to have the prospect of a new sword, and now the mention of him fighting a legendary sword. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, so he says that this is one of the 21 excellent grade swords.
Yeah.
So back in Logtown, like you said, that's when we learned about the grading for the sword. So this is a very rare sword.
It's got a name. Sushi. Sushi.
Sushi. No, it's
his onigiri dragon sushi.
Yeah. Next one's gonna be tempura roll.
Yes. Yeah, but love this moment for Zoro. He's like, I'll make that sword mine. I'm hyped. Very excited to see how this battle turns out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I skipped right over Usopp's epic battle with Perona. And
yeah, I know you're excited, so that's okay.
Yeah, sorry, I had to get that out of the way. But when he glooms the negative ghosts, and then now they're being negative, I thought that was so good. So good.
He takes like 5 at the same time or whatever, 4.
The negative ghosts were out negative.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. All my notes on this chapter are about the sword. I'm looking down at my notes and it's all like the name of the sword, the grade of the sword, excited about the sword, all this shit.
Did I mention the sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, so but anyway, go back to this Perona incident as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Perona's like on the ground, like I'm so sorry for everything, Kumasi. So she's apologizing to Kumasi.
Yeah, this is a great fight.
Yeah, and they remarked like how proud Usopp is about like having such a character flaw. Like, oh, he's so proud of himself. Like
so confident.
So confident in his lack of confidence.
Yeah, right. This is great.
Yeah, and we get this brief fight where Brook is still fighting Ryuma, but we see that the samurai is definitely stronger than Brook, unfortunately.
Right.
So this is like one of those cases where the quality of the zombie and the shadow made a really strong opponent. Right. And Brook still has concern about his hair. So yeah. But we find out like why he cares about his hair so much was because that's the only thing that he has left that Laboon could recognize.
Yeah.
Because like Ryuma has been like mocking Brook, like, oh no, like you were crying about your hair. Oh, maybe I should cut it off here. But once it gets cut off, it won't grow back. But Brook wants to keep the hair, so that way when he shows up for Laboon could be like, "Oh, I know you. You're the guy with the hair."
So good.
So it's really sweet.
It is really sweet. Yeah, no, that is a touching flashback we get. But the swordsman can't kill Brooks, because if he kills Brooks, he would in turn be killing himself.
That's true. Yeah, so he can't kill Brook.
He can't kill Brook. But he can clearly best him. He's definitely, like you said, stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, so luckily, Zoro shows up in time to challenge for the sword.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and speaking of swords, is this the first time we've seen Brooks use his cane as a sword?
So
that's kind of a fun.
I think he used it in the flashback from the last volume, and
gotcha.
he also fought Tarlon too. So when he did the non-flash, yeah.
That's right. We do see it.
And then we have, luckily, Sanji step in to save Nami from getting married to Absalom here. So
thank goodness.
Yeah, so Oars is kind of like pulling this chain to like steer the ship, and it's causing it to turn wildly, so they can't get their footing. So then Absalom's kind of like moving around while trying to kiss Nami.
Yep.
Yeah. Then Sanji shows up and he's like, yeah. So this isn't happening.
The White Knight has arrived.
Yeah. Anything else before we move on?
Just admiring the panel of Oars using the Gatling punches. Such an amazing looking panel.
Yeah.
Even though they're not moving at rubber speed, there's still some ferocious looking punches.
Yeah, so pretty fast, and he's doing more work by destroying the zombies.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he does say, he does the attack Gum Gum, even though I'm not made of rubber. Not right. He doesn't specify that. So yeah, I don't quite understand why I'm saying it because I'm not made of rubber, but I'm saying it.
Hey, old habits die hard.
Okay, let's move on to the next cover story, or the next part of the cover story. Ender's Great Space Mission, Volume 29, Space Pirate Excavation Project. Ender finds a cave that the space pirates were trying to uncover. That's pretty mysterious.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. What could be down there? Find out. Next cover story. Yeah, not too much to say about this one.
Yeah, but it's a little intriguing though, because it's like, okay, so this seems to be what the space pirates were like working towards. So they had some kind of reason. So it looks like they're trying to find this place. But now Andrew's going to check it out himself.
Mysterious.
Speaking of mysterious, moving on to chapter 463, Pirate Sanji versus Mystery Man Absalom. Luffy talks to Moria while wondering why everything is shaking, demanding he give all the shadows back. Moria explains that even if Luffy beats him, the shadows won't go back unless he gives the order. Determined to beat Moria to comply, Luffy attempts to attack the warlord, but is stopped by a shadow doppelganger. Moria tells Luffy that initially part of the shadow's personality will remain, but over time it will be completely erased by the zombie and will become obedient. Luffy tries the Gum Gum Gatling, but is stopped by the shadow brickbats. Moria is confident that Luffy won't be able to hit him, but Luffy hops over the ledge and surprises him with an attack from below. Sanji is able to retrieve the sleeping Nami, though he mistakes her for a goddess for a moment. He is furious at Absalom for taking Nami, but there's something else that he's mad about. Yeah, so we have a start with the confrontation with Luffy and Moria.
Yeah, I love how blasé Moria is. He's so calm.
Yeah.
And so unshaken. And he knows how powerful Luffy is. Like, he targeted Luffy because he knows how incredibly powerful he is. But right here, he's just like kicking back, hanging out. And then
last volume, they kind of introduced the personality for Moria, and like his kind of philosophy is, you do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
a lazy leader.
Yep.
But not weak. We see the shadow emerge here, which seems like a pretty formidable opponent. And like the shadow kind of has like Logia abilities.
Yeah, I love the sequence here. Like the way that we see the hand come up, and then the look on Moria's face saying like, go ahead and try. And then we see the way that the shadow like comes through the floor.
Yeah.
I just think it looks so cool. Like the way that Oda portrays his shadow.
Mm-hmm.
He calls it the Doppelman.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Yeah, I like how it's depicted. Like you can kind of, it's just pure black, like a silhouette.
Yeah.
Which looks really cool. like I said, that's kind of like has like Logia abilities and kind of like breaks apart and stretches and bends and seems to have Luffy on the defensive.
Yeah.
But classic Luffy with some quick thinking, kind of blindsides Moria with a kick.
Yeah.
Which is so Luffy, like being resourceful, like thinking through problems in the midst of fighting for his life,
Well, like the first thing Luffy does is like force. So that's his first reaction, right?
Right.
And then he's very adaptable, so he'll change his game plan.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to attack with the Gatling, but then the Doppelman breaks into a brickbat, so he's able to like take the shadows, and they basically turn into like these shadow orbs, and each one of them blocks Luffy's Gatling. So even though Luffy's doing the Gatling, like Moria is just sitting here, not bothered. He's even like humming, and like Luffy's hitting like just the shadows. He like Moria is able to block all the attacks, and then the orbs turn into these bats that bite Luffy. And then after that, Luffy realizes he has to change up his approach, and that's when he comes in from below, where Moria can't see him, so he goes under the bridge. So
yep, which was great.
Catch him off guard, yeah.
Yeah, the shadows seem to have an answer for everything. Like definitely a strong opponent.
But I also want to point out that Moria's goal is also to be the Pirate King. He's going about it in a different way than Luffy is, but ultimately his whole reason for trying to amass this strong army of soldiers is to become the Pirate King, but with having the strong underlings to prop him up.
Mm-hmm.
We found out in the last volume that Moria has been to the New World and was defeated by somebody named Kaido.
That's right.
So even somebody as powerful as Moria couldn't cut it in the New World quite yet. So he kind of came back and he's like, all right, let's take some time to build up my army and then we'll try it again. But he's directly opposing Luffy's goal. They both want to be the king of the pirate, but only one of them can be.
And Oars' goal.
Yep, Oars too.
I can see some conflict there.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I think Oars is going to stage a coup. But in the next scene following that one, we get Sanji fighting for his damsel in distress. I feel like there is never a time where Sanji is more powerful than fighting for Nami. So
yeah, he gets real fired up.
Yeah, this is his wheelhouse for sure. He's eating this up.
I love his little entrance. He does like a little jig. And he seems like so happy to see Nami. He can't help himself, and he's like, and he's like smiling, and he goes and kicks the zombie. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious when Sanji kept mistaking Nami for a goddess or an angel, like every time.
Yeah, Absalom too was also.
Yeah, Absalom does it as well.
Yeah,
that one got me. That was really funny. Yeah, so Absalom seems to not really think much of Sanji after seeing his zombie version. He was kind of like, yeah, he couldn't have been that strong. Like he doesn't have a bounty, and the zombie penguin was too easy to deal with. So this guy's probably nothing. And then he gets a rude awakening when he gets blasted by Sanji.
Yeah, some great action shots in this chapter. Some great kicks. Particularly the one where he kicks him like right as he's invisible. I thought that looks really cool. Yeah, he kicks Absalom after Absalom turns invisible. And right before that, like when the way Oda depicts Absalom when he's invisible is so cool. Like right when he turns invisible for the first time in this fight, you kind of can see a silhouette by like the negative spaces is shadowed. You see that at the top of the page, and then Sanji uses the salt balls to detect his location. He kind of like throws them around him and sees where they hit, and then lights them up. Like that was really cool scene, and I thought it was like cool. really well drawn too. Like I think it plays really well. It's gotta be hard to draw something that's not visible.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool effect the way he does it.
Yeah, big fan.
I also love the way that Sanji stops Absalom from using the Hands of the Dead attack. Where he like jumps above him and then like moves his arms to the side. But
yeah.
So like the blast go off and hit the walls instead.
So cool. Yeah, it's like using his feet to stop the shots. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Now at the end of the chapter, we find out that there's something else about Absalom that's making Sanji angry.
Mm-hmm. I'm
curious.
Yeah. I had a guess and I was wrong.
Okay. What was your guess?
I thought it had to do with like marrying Nami. Like, how dare you marry Nami before me or something like that. I thought it had to do with Nami.
You wanted him to marry Nami.
Yeah, I thought it had something to do with Nami.
I mean, it's a fair guess.
Like how dare you kiss her before I do, or marry her before I do, something like that. I thought I was definitely not something along those lines having to do with Nami, or like seeing Nami naked, something like that, like something a very Sanji thing, you know.
Well, that's close.
that is close, actually.
All right, so how about we get into the next chapter? Chapter 464, Sanji's Dream. Sanji tells Absalom that he stole one of his dreams, but Absalom is confused as they have never met before. Sanji has figured out that Absalom was turning bazookas on his arms invisible, which is how he was causing the blasts. He reveals that he had read an encyclopedia of devil fruits when he was a kid, but he only cared about one fruit, the clear fruit, which Absalom has. Because there is only one clear fruit, Sanji's dream is dead. He wanted to use it to peep on women. I mean, use it for good. Absalom takes Sanji seriously as a threat, showing that his body contains the skin of an elephant and the muscle from bears and gorillas. He turns invisible and threatens to turn Nami invisible with him to leave with her, but Sanji holds her above his head while taking the attacks. Not wanting to get blood on Nami's dress, he has no choice but to drop her. Sanji sends Absalom flying into the wall with a kick. Meanwhile, Usopp chases Perona while Kumasi chases Usopp. Perona's afraid that she can't fight Usopp, so while he's distracted by Kumasi, she floats outside the window where Usopp can't reach her. Okay. So I have very strong opinions on this one, but I want to know what are your thoughts about this chapter?
I was surprised in Sanji's dream. Like I said, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like, I wish it was more noble, but
yeah,
it also does kind of feel on brand for Sanji. But I love the zombie who's commentating on, like, we're getting this like zombie bystanders reaction to everything in this chapter, which I thought was so good. Who's kind of like drawing parallels between Absalom and Sanji, which again, I also didn't like that they were drawing similarities between a character I detest and a character I love.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had a few qualms with that. Yeah, I do love Sanji, saving Nami here and protecting her, and I feel like that's very on brand for Sanji.
Yeah, so I mean, this chapter we have two different sides of Sanji, which are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I think this is the moment that really taints Sanji's character for me, and I think it's hard to look at him the same way. Because I feel like it kind of takes things a little too far. So, like you were saying, like what the comments from the peanut gallery were saying as well, is like they are literally saying that like he has the same qualities as the literal villain, who is also one of the worst characters that we have in One Piece. So so we saw how gross and like scummy Absalom was, and like we like really didn't like him because of those things. And now we have this moment where Sanji says, "That's what I wish I was doing." Like it's a gag. And like you said, it really shouldn't be that surprising for Sanji's character, the fact that like, yeah, that's what he wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really makes it better. But yeah, I just kind of think this takes away from Sanji's character a lot for me.
I agree, and also takes away from this moment because I feel like this is the moment that Sanji has dreamed of, like swooping in, saving Nami, like she's in a wedding dress and like literally saving a damsel in distress. Yeah. And I feel like this is a moment that Sanji has dreamed about, and it's the first time in this series that he's really like single-handedly like been on a mission to go save Nami from the bad guy. The princess has been captured and the White Knight has gone to like save her kind of moment. And yeah, I wish they played that side of that plot point up more so than the pervy kind of like, oh, I wish I had your ability so I could like have for nefarious reasons or whatever, I think it kind of takes away from the moment and like you said, kind of taints the character a bit.
Yeah, I think before this point, like Sanji would have been like one of my favorite characters, but Sanji has like really fallen off for me. And like I think this moment in particular, like really hurt Sanji's character for me personally.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably feel the same way, but like other people might not bother them as much. But I think, I just think it's not a good look for Sanji.
Agreed. Yeah, it's definitely not a good look. Because like we see like the chivalrous side and the like I could never harm a woman side, and you respect that.
Yeah.
But here he really doubles down on like the more pervy side of things, which is not a good look.
Again, I think it's played up for jokes, but I think it just falls short.
Yeah. Like I said, I wish my prediction was true and it was just like a passion for Nami, and he had his White Knight moment,
Yeah. But with that being said, I do actually like the way that we find out more about Absalom's, like what he's been doing this whole time is that he's been turning the bazookas invisible.
Yeah, that was a cool reveal.
Yeah.
And I like that Sanji like picked up on it before it was revealed. Like Sanji had picked up on that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so the fact that he was aware of the fruit works to his advantage here.
Right. Did his research.
Yeah, as much as I don't like Absalom, I also do think it's kind of cool how he's like a mishmash of these different animals.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of like Frankenstein with these different animal parts to enhance his strength.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun concept. Again, Absalom's not the greatest character, but I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, cool character design.
Yeah.
Hogback did a good job.
Yeah.
And this chapter ends with a Perona ability reveal when she jumps out the window and can fly. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was very comical the way that Usopp is chasing Perona and the Kumasi is chasing Usopp.
Yep. And then the tables turn.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention though about the Absalom fight was I think it's cool the way that we see Absalom gets knocked into the wall when he's invisible, and we just see the imprint on the wall.
Yeah.
We can't see him, so we just see his shape in the wall. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, you good to move on then?
Yep.
Okay. Enter this great space mission, Volume 30, what lies below ground on the moon. And then he decides to explore the cave. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Right? If you can sense any people in there.
Good point. Okay. Chapter 465, Pirate Usopp versus Mystery Woman Perona. Usopp tells Perona they can still hit her from here using a special slingshot, Kabuto. She disappears and reappears behind him, but much larger. He's unable to hit her as she floats around and reaches inside his body, threatening to crush his heart. Usopp is terrified of dying, but Perona admits that she can't actually do that and can't touch anything while she's intangible. She can, however, hit him with her mini hollows that can explode. While getting hit with explosions and now Kumasi punching him, he begins to doubt himself, calling on Sniper King to help him. He puts on the mask and takes on the persona of Sniper King. shooting salt into Kumasi's mouth point blank and purifying the shadow. Usopp realizes that she stopped running away at some point and determines that this must not be her real body. He blasts down the wall into her room, where he finds her real body sitting there motionless.
R.I.P. Kumasi. He's a good character.
Yeah, I loved Kumasi.
Yeah, I like that character a lot. I was like, oh man, we didn't have to kill him again. This was a cool reveal. So we get the Kabuto description at the beginning of the chapter, which I thought was very cool. And
right.
And I love when Oda does this. The fun little like diagram and explanation here was very fun and long overdue. So I'm glad we got that.
Yeah, because we saw him use it in Enies Lobby as Sniper King.
Yeah, right.
But we never got an introduction to it. He didn't really explain it. So here, he explains the features that there's 5 pivots, so it can increase the range of the attack. And he also uses a breath dial when he at the precise moment he takes the shot, so he can spin the ammo in any direction, so he can curve it. So it's a pretty sweet weapon.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And so Usopp, like I love that. Then next page we get this really crazy reveal of Perona's ability, where she is like this. She looks like a massive doll, like in the corner. Like that was creepy. I was like, this is creepy. Like if I saw that, I would freak out.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Because she kind of looks like a doll, and like in this, all of a sudden being behind him and massive like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty terrifying. Very unsettling for sure. And then she nearly scares him to death by squeezing his heart, which is pretty terrifying. Pretty terrifying.
Yeah, we even see her like her hands inside the body, like around the heart.
Yep. And he's like staring into her eyes, and like it's like, damn, that's scary. That's the last thing you see. Like,
and he was like,
but she was like, kidding.
Yeah. I love that. It's so fun.
Yeah, so fun. Although now that I think about it, kind of similar tactics. Like they both are kind of lying about their abilities to scare their opponent.
Yeah, they use like trickery.
Like trickery, yeah, being like tricky and kind of exaggerating. Sniper King shows up.
Well, before that, I just want to point out, like I think it's really cool the way that we see Perona going through Usopp's body. So we see like Oda draws like Usopp's hand like through her head and like her arm through his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And like the panel above, like we see like I just think like to draw that you have to like have like a reference for like what part of the body is here, and like I just think it was like really cool to like intertwine the bodies like that to get that effect.
Yeah, definitely. God, that'd be such a weird experience.
But yeah, you were saying that Sniper King makes an appearance here as well.
Yes, and Sniper King comes out of nowhere. God, I do love Sniper King's mask. Like I do love Sniper King's design.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But yeah, Sniper King shows up, assassinates Kumasi, and then figures out.
Which is a cool panel.
It is a cool panel. Again, sad.
Yeah.
Which enrages Perona.
But it's like a cool like transition. Like when it shows like the moment like when Usopp is like, I need Sniper King's help. Mm-hmm. And then like the next page, like we see like Sniper King is now in full effect. It's like a switch happened.
Yeah.
And now he's like more confident.
Yeah, it is cool. It is like he puts on a mask literally, and kind of changes his confidence, and I feel like his fright is like mostly just his confidence. But
yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it is kind of like a switch. Like he puts on that mask and he switches into a different mode. Yeah,
so it's definitely more of like a mental thing for him. Yeah, because like he has the same capabilities, but it's just like a mindset thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also seems to have more clarity, where he's taking a moment to try to piece together like what's going on, how we should approach this.
Yep.
So at first he runs away, but then like he used that time to like put the pieces together. He's like, okay, so what's going on here? So like like what made her come back after she, like, when I didn't see her for a minute, like she seemed very confident because she was running away before. So he kind of puts together that there was something weird about what's going on with her.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts together that her real body must be somewhere else, and this is just a projection.
Brilliant. Quick thinking.
Yeah.
I do love that moment though, where like he takes out Kumasi, he's all confident, badass, and he's like, "Nice to meet you. My name is Sniper King. Time to run!" And just like turns around and bolts. I was like, "All right, let's go, Sniper King!" Like, I'm like, "Let's see it. Let's see what he's got." And then he turns and runs. I'm like, "That's perfect."
Yeah, Pearl's like, "You're messing around. You really think you're a different person?"
Yeah, I like how this this panned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we find out they both have been playing some tricks.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything else for this one?
I'm good. I'm good to move on.
Okay. Just real quick, we have an SPS question that pointed out somebody noticed that the lion's mouth that was used for Absalom. So we had mentioned this before.
Yep.
But like Oda does say here that it might not actually be Absalom's human face, but that was the lion's mouth that was used for Absalom's face. So it could have just been somebody else's face that they used, but we don't know for sure. It's still a mystery. So
still a mystery.
But speaking of mysteries, moving on to Ender's Great Space Mission, Volume 31, The Dark Underground City. Ender finds the ruins of a civilization that is underground.
Oh, this is perfect. He's like, all right, my new Vars has a hidden underground city. Perfect. That checks off my box.
Awesome. That's what I was
Gotta have one of those.
Yeah, when he was like flying Arc Maxim over here, he's like, man, I really hope there's an underground city. That'd be really sweet.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I miss Shandora. Like, I wish we had a equivalent. A moon equivalent would be nice.
Yeah. But really interesting. There's these ruins like on the moon.
On the moon.
On the ground.
And it looks so, like deserted. Interesting.
Yeah. Very curious.
Interesting.
Okay, but let's get into chapter 466, Conclusion. Usopp shoots at Perona's body, but misses. Before he can fire again, she sends a large special hollow at him while she returns to her body. Usopp managed to psych up the hollow using his dial. To Perona's surprise, she can't move because Usopp's attack earlier was actually a bluff, setting up a sticky star. Hippo Gallant shows up to avenge Kumasi, but Usopp is able to defeat him in one attack, using the explosion he absorbed earlier with the impact dial. Usopp shoots a ball containing roaches that cover Perona, and she begins to cry. Usopp is ready to land the finishing blow with his 10-ton hammer. He smacks her over the head with it, but she faints before she can realize it was a balloon. Outside, Zoro falls from the top of the building, while Ryuma looks down at him. Brook says the samurai never fought like that against him, and declares the battle is over. 5 minutes ago, Zoro and Ryuma clashed swords.
Sword fight!
So it looks like things aren't going too well for Zoro.
Yeah, this Ryuma guy must be insanely powerful.
Yeah, so
such a cool shot. Like, that double panel of Zoro on the ground and Ryuma like flaming looks very cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunate content, but visually very cool.
But yeah, we'll have to see what happens there.
Yep.
Another time. But for now, we get the conclusion to the Usopp and Perona fight,
which is amazing. Which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I love how this fight pans out. Usopp thinking on his feet, no mask, just kicking ass, and to use the sticky bomb to chase her back into her own body, to use the dial. This was all brilliant. And then I love how he kind of gets his revenge from her nearly scaring him to death earlier, and now he like gets to scare her nearly to death. But yeah, and he pulls out a classic Usopp special here with the hammer. So
yeah, that's like pitch perfect. It's like he's one step ahead every time, and everything is so Usopp.
Yeah,
like in the best
love
ways.
It. Agreed. This was played out beautifully. Really enjoyed this one.
He's putting those dials to good use too.
Yeah, I love that for him. Like I love that for him because he was like really appreciate like, you know, when we were in Skypea, he was like obsessed with this technology and like saying he was going to use it for all his tools. And now we get to see that, you know, coming to fruition and him actually in practice and like in his design. So I love that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's a good trade for those rubber bands.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's good to have one of those. You never know.
Oh, never know. For sure. Don't want to give away all your rubber bands.
Don't want to count it out. Yeah, you can't count it out, but
you got to be able to do your rubber bands of doom.
Yeah, this was a great conclusion for me for the Usopp Perona battle.
And I love the fact that he used fake bugs. like Oda had to like, specify that they were fake. Yep. Like this would be like really cruel if like they were real bugs. Like the fact that like that she's like freaking out and she's like, "Oh, they're getting in my clothes. I hate cockroaches. I'm scared." Kumasi. Like, I feel really bad for her.
Yep.
Like, you know, even though she's like, you know, she's a villain. Mm-hmm. Like I do feel really bad. But yeah, so they were just toy bugs. So Usopp, again, using his trickery, but like, yeah, he's not that bad.
To challenge me in a duel of negativity and lying. It's a great line.
Yeah.
Should have known better.
Yeah, she was outmatched.
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun matchup.
He does a little hop on his way out.
So good. Yeah. Speaking of good matchups, we have what seems to be a very epic sword fight in the making. So I'm stoked for the rest of that.
Yeah.
I cannot accept that Zoro was defeated. I cannot accept it. I need to know. I need to know what happened.
I mean, it looks like it must have been a pretty epic fight.
For real.
Yeah, so then we get like a little text box here again saying it was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes ago. So we actually go back to the beginning of the fight and we see that they have a pretty epic beginning of the fight. Like they seem pretty evenly matched already. Mm-hmm. And like Zoro's like really bringing it, and we can see like they're like destroying like the walls around them from like the impacts.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's no like lightly gray pages here. Normally when Oda does like a flashback or like a flashback like this, I feel like it is like a light gray because it's black when it's like a deep flashback, but when it's
when it goes further back,
when it goes really far back, it's like a completely black background. But usually when Oda does more recent flashbacks like this one, like a 5 minutes ago, 20 minutes, 30 minutes ago, it's like a light gray, but we don't see that here.
Yeah, this would have been a good time to use it.
I mean, it is labeled.
It is, but like you said, it's usually been pretty consistent when it comes.
Yeah, I feel like I was expecting that. Again, I don't think I noticed that on my first read through. I'm just noticing it now while we're going back through it, but still,
yeah,
I'm surprised not to see it because I feel like it had gotten to a point where Oda wasn't labeling them because of that characteristic. Like there were points where it would there was like a gradient. It would go from white to like gray or white to black. I mean, you would know it's a flashback just because we've read, 30 volumes of One Piece at that point or whatever.
Yeah, he might not specify like the timing, but
it might not even specify.
We would just know. Yeah,
we usually get that like broken panel where it like kind of the panel either grows or like fades, and then usually we get the changing of the page color. Anyways, let's get into this sword fight.
Okay, yeah, let's move on. Before that, though, Enu's Great Space Mission, Volume 32. Attack the city first, ask questions later. Before taking a closer look at the city, Enu sends his lightning all over the ruins. So he's pretty consistent.
Just for safety. To electrocute everything, just in case.
Yeah, you never know if there's like anybody just kind of hiding out around here. So he doesn't want to take any chances.
Yeah. We're seeing a much more timid Eneru after his defeat to Luffy.
I think he's pretty confident here. He's like, I'm the strongest thing on this moon. Like nothing can challenge me. Not even the city.
Not even the city.
These empty buildings don't stand a chance against me. All right, but we have chapter 467, Pirate Zoro versus Samurai Ryuma. Frankie and Brook watch the two swordsmen fight, impressed by their equal skills. Their duel causes the top of the building to collapse. Frankie blasts a hole in the roof just in time for he and Brook to escape. The two continue their duel outside on the roof, using their swords to compensate for the poor footing. Zoro recognizes he needs to end the fight soon before his swords break. Zoro catches himself on the top section of the roof to avoid Ryuma's slash, and Zoro attacks from above. Ryuma runs up to meet him, but Zoro's attack lands first, setting the zombie on fire. Ryuma willingly gives the sword to Zoro, as the zombie's body burns away, returning Brook's shadow to him. Okay, so a little playing with our expectations here.
They pulled a fast one on us.
Yep. Yeah. So did the previous chapter set you up with like a sense of like, oh no, Zoro lost?
Yeah, I was like, I was worried that he was bested by Ryuma. But I was page turning on this whole chapter. This was so good. I loved this fight. I think it looked absolutely incredible on the pages. Like just visually looked amazing. You got to see a lot of Zoro's attacks that we've come to expect now. And it's cool seeing like just like straight up sword fight, legendary swordsman versus Zoro down a sword.
Yeah, he's not even at full strength.
Not even at full strength. Yeah, I thought this was epic. I thought them fighting on the rooftop was really cool. Like it feels like a classic like Japanese showdown with like the rooftops samurai duel. Like so good, cutting the building in half. Zoro with this like really cool flying dragon finishing move. And then we get that shot that like not quite a full page spread, but the notch slash versus the flying dragon blaze, where they're both kind of flying through the air and you see the slash mark that Zoro has made.
Yeah.
Which ignites into fire.
That's a new one.
Like how cool is that? Very cool. Yeah, and then just kind of this like epic samurai conclusion where Ryumi accepts his defeat and bestows the blade to Zoro. Like that was freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Just like the honor, like the samurai honor in that, I thought was a very satisfying conclusion to this battle. And Zoro's finally got his third sword.
There we go.
Goosebumps. This was so good. Such a good chapter for Zoro.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was epic. I was loving every page of this chapter. Every panel. So good.
Yeah, this is a really
y'all know I'm a sucker for Zoro. Like I love Zoro's character, and so this chapter really checked off all my boxes. And he got a new sword out of it, and it's an amazing sword from an amazing swordsman who, like I said, like bestowed this blade to him, which I think is so cool and makes it like that much more special. And the link to Brook as well, like it's just so good.
Yeah, definitely a strong fight.
Brook got a shadow back.
Yeah, I love the way that like Zoro has to use like the swords like by stabbing like the roof, and then Ryuma was doing like the same as well, like using like the swords to like to travel around the roof because like it's on an angle.
Yep.
They can't just walk around it, so they use the swords as a way to get around.
It's like a controlled fall. They're like falling down.
And I think it's like it was really cool the way that Ryuma slashes like the top part of the tower in half. But then Zoro uses his swords to catch himself on the top part. Mm-hmm. And then he runs up the top part so he can get like the high ground. And that's when he comes down from above with the flying dragon blaze. So yeah, it was just really cool the way that played out.
So good. Favorite chapter.
And then Yeah. And Ryuma can't get the full attack off. So like the slash part, he gets like notch slash,
Yep.
and then like it gets cut off.
Yeah, that
Literally,
panel
yeah.
is so good. So good. I love it. You can like see the slash mark on Ryuma. Like it looks so good.
Yeah.
Like you can picture exactly what happened. Yeah, which results in the fall that we saw at the end of the last chapter.
Which is a fall of victory. This is a victory fall.
Victory fall.
You don't see those too often, but they happen from time to time. But like you were saying, it is nice that in addition to the epic fight and the sword, Brooke also gets the shadow back.
Yep. I like the design of the Su Shui, the sword. It's got a cool sheath.
Yeah. And it's got like a very distinct look on the blade as well.
Yep.
So like I think the sword's just like really iconic looking.
Yeah, agreed. It looks awesome.
And I like how the Zoro at the end says, the sword is mine to keep, but let's pretend this fight never happened. Samurai of the Wano country. So he doesn't want to like ruin the legacy of the samurai himself. So he's showing respect. Yeah. But he's like, I'll take the sword, but like we'll say this fight didn't happen.
Yeah. Zoro's finally got his 3 swords. I can finally sleep at night.
Yeah, he's got a nice little upgrade here.
Yeah. Pretty pumped.
All right, so are we good to move on?
I'm good.
Okay. Enryu's Great Space Mission, Volume 33, Revitalizing Energy in the Ancient City. Enryu's lightning spreads over the city, restoring its power.
Whoops.
So yeah, I'm sure he meant to do that.
Wow.
Yep, that's been very intentional.
Well, the city is alive again.
Maybe we'll find out what that means in a future chapter, but for now, we have chapter 468, Pirate Chopper versus Mystery Man Hogback. Jigoro and Danupe managed to keep Chopper and Robin at bay after they were unable to get the salt into the zombies' mouths. The personalities of the shadows have worn off the zombies at this point. Hogback orders Sindri to finish them off. Chopper tells Hogback that he's lost respect for him as a doctor. Hogback says he gave up that life because he was bothered by people always wanting his help. Chopper says he's making a mockery of life by using the dead bodies. He remembers Chopper found his room. He explained he was in love with Victoria Sindri, but she turned down his marriage proposal because she was already engaged. After she died, he dug up her corpse and made a deal to help Moria if he would use his powers to give Sindri his shadow. Chopper shouts that he's making monsters. He orders Sindri to attack Chopper, but Chopper tells her that she doesn't have to listen. He says it's not right to force someone to live without a free will of their own. Hogback orders Jigoro and Danupe to attack, but there's still some Zoro and Sanji left as they start fighting each other. Robin holds Hogback's mouth shut, preventing him from giving them more orders. Robin tricks Hogback into ordering the 2 zombies to jump off the edge of the tower. Hogback orders Sindri to cover him while he retreats, but she can't move. All right, so yeah, we get some context for like what Hogback's been doing this time and what Sindri's deal is.
Yeah, pretty messed up tale.
Yep.
Man,
seems to be a trend.
Hogback and Absalom. Yeah, I was just gonna say Hogback and Absalom have some like serious romance issues.
Yeah, they can't find relationships like based on their personalities, so they have to like force women to to be with them.
Grotesque. Yeah, interesting getting some backstory here though on kind of the connection between Sindri and Hogback and Sindri's past and Gecko Moria and Hogback's connection as well. It's all pretty sick and twisted, but there seems to be some resistance at the end of this chapter from Sindri, and I think that Chopper maybe got to her.
Maybe. Yeah, so Hogback seems pretty confident. He's saying the shadows will eventually obey, which has seemed to be the case so far. Moria said as much as well. Eventually, all the shadows will lose their personalities completely and become completely obedient. So we see the Zoro and Sanji's shadows have become compliant, and they're obeying Hogback's commands.
But they're still bickering.
Yeah,
So there's still a little bit of something in there.
Yeah, which is funny.
That was very funny.
And we see with Hogback, so we see his like viewpoint of being this genius doctor. Like he was so talented that people actually wanted his help, and he got like annoyed by people like trying to get his help. So he was just like I don't want to do this. Like I just wanted to have the money, but like I don't want to actually help people. So that's not why he got into being a doctor. So he has a very like self-importance to him, and that's pretty much all he really cares about.
Yeah, I became the best doctor in the world to save people, and then I found out I was evil, and it didn't work. It didn't fit for me anymore.
You could be an evil doctor.
Yeah, so now evil doctor. Yeah, this was a good chapter for Chopper.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh man, yeah, it was intense. Like them trying to give the salt to Sindri, but they were thwarted.
Yeah,
by a penguin with the head of a bulldog.
Yeah, going into this flashback though, like Hogback demonstrates again just how little he actually respects other people, even like Sindri, who like he specifically requested. So he kicks Sindri and then forces her to like lick the floor, which is like really gross.
Despicable. This guy's awful.
Yeah, and then he specifically targeted Sindri because she wanted him to she wanted her to marry him, but she was already engaged, so of course she's not gonna. I mean, she was probably being polite there as well. I think there's plenty of other reasons not to marry him, but the way he handled the rejection kind of says a lot. So after she died in the accident, it was kind of like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. Let me, bring her back with these the shadows. So the shadow is the one that has a personality that doesn't like the plates. So but so she doesn't really have a will of her own, so she has to attack Chopper, who is trying to get through to her. Yeah, and Chopper just also has such a respect for like people, and he sees that the zombies aren't truly people in the sense that they don't have a free will. So like their existence is just to serve other people, and he doesn't think it's fair to bring somebody back to this world just to force them to be slaves. So he thinks that people deserve the right to make their own choices. So this isn't a life for them.
Yeah, it's not living at all.
Yeah, and Robin's pretty cheeky in this chapter as well. Mm-hmm. So she holds Hogback's mouth while the other two are fighting, so that he can't order them to stop fighting.
Yeah,
and then she says, "Oh, the fight is getting good." And then she tricks Hogback into telling them to go jump off the edge.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. So she's like, "Why don't you tell us to go jump off the edge?" And Hogback falls for it for some reason, but
yeah,
he does. The genius doctor.
The genius falls for the oldest trick in the book.
So then Jigoro and Anupe take a dive off the edge.
So that means Sanji and Zoro have their shadows back as well.
Well, we don't know if the zombies necessarily die here.
Ah, that's true. That's true.
So I guess we'll have to see.
If they are like Sanji and Zoro, they're probably still alive.
Especially after that last fall that Zoro had.
Yeah, I was going to say, both known for surviving very high falls.
Yeah, then it's a surprise moment at the end where Sanji's crying. She's saying that she can't move. So it does seem like Chopper got through to her on some level.
Yep. Yeah, she's crying. We haven't seen any emotion from her at all.
Yeah.
And she's not following orders, so we'll see.
We'll see. All right. So anything else on this one before we move on?
No, it was just nice seeing Chopper stand up and be really passionate about what he believes in.
Yeah, definitely.
It was nice to see that.
Okay. Moving on to Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 34. Charge complete. Thanking the Destroyer. Enru has given power to all the robots in the city, bringing them to life. Whoa, didn't see that one coming.
Very curious to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because we saw that Dr. Tsukimi was creating Lieutenant Spacey and his friends, but they're ones already on the moon. So, like, did Dr. Tsukimi make those two? Like, were they all sent to the moon? Were they there before? Did like Dr. Tsukimi find one and recreate one? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of like questions that this now is making me ask. I'm very curious, like, what this means.
Same. This is the time where everyone needs to ask those questions. He said he was going to attack first and ask questions later. Now it's time to ask questions because we're curious.
Time for the questions. All right. So hopefully we'll get answers later. But for now, chapter 469, Come Out Here, Straw Hat Pirates. Tears begin to fall down Sindri's face, but she doesn't know why. Chopper and Robin wonder if part of the original Sindri is still in there, resisting. The zombie regains control of her body to follow Hogback's orders to fight. Chopper grabs Hogback before he can escape, saying that his captain doesn't need to force people to follow him. Robin uses her powers to give Chopper a boost for him to begin a suplex on Hogback. Oars has returned to the freezer and is now ready to obey Moria's commands. He orders the Oars to go after the Straw Hats, using their bounty posters to identify them. Moria runs away, while Oars smashes the building. The building collapses around Hogback during Chopper's attack, trapping him in the rubble. He orders Sindri to help him, but once again, she can't move. Seeming as though part of Victoria's Sindri remains, she only smiles as the Oars crushes Hogback. Oars' attack also narrowly misses Usopp and Sanji. In the commotion, Absalom recovered, turning Nami invisible, and takes her. Luffy chases after Moria while Oars shouts for the Straw Hats to come out.
First of all, the Robbie Cho suplex. So good. Oh my god. I love that. I love that they had like a combo move and they had a name for it.
Yeah, because it's like a combination I feel like you don't really see too often. So again, it's nice when Oda plays with the different combinations of members of the crew and has them like interact with each other.
So good.
Yeah, it seems like Chopper got through to Sindri on some level.
Yeah, it's like I think a very beautiful moment when we get her. Because I feel like even like this whole chapter pretty much. I think Oda does like a good job of like showing. It seems like Sindri has like more. It's like more emotion. It's very subtle, but like her face is making more expressions, and she seems to like be kind of like coming to life a little bit, or getting some of her personality back, leading up to her demise by Oars. But we get to see like a smile before that happens, which is touching.
Yeah, I don't know if we necessarily know if she's crushed by Oars. It seems like Hogback is.
Oh, I see. I thought they were both crushed. Yeah, it looks like just Hogback.
Yeah, so there's a moment where Hogback is stuck in the rubble and he's like begging for help and he can't move, and Sindri just smiles. So again, kind of seeing that emotion, but then we have like that little image of the actual Victoria Sindri like smiling in the back as well.
Yeah,
so it seems to imply that like part of her spirit is in a sense still part of the body, and she's kind of getting back at Hogback for treating her like this.
Yeah, and Robin and Chopper both see that and notice that.
Yeah,
too.
But now we see Moria actually get up and run for the first time.
Yeah, right.
Like, all right, it's time to make my move. I'm out of here. Yeah, Oars can handle this.
Yeah, Oars is just wreaking havoc. Just destroying everything.
Yes, now he's being sent to target the Straw Hats. So he's been given the bounty posters as a reference.
Not good. And Absalom has Nami back.
Also not good.
Also not good.
Like Sanji, you had one job.
Right. And you did a really good job right up until that last second. Took your eyes off the prize. Yep. They've got quite the fearsome opponent here.
But Luffy's not ready to let Moria go, so he's still running after him.
Yep. things are coming to a head. Man, the Robbie Cho suplex. I hope that we get more team name attack moves.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, so like Oars breaks out and he's calling for all the Straw Hats. Most of them seem a little intimidated, but Zoro seems pretty excited to fight this guy. Maybe put his new sword to use.
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
Okay. Anything else before we move on?
I'm good.
All right. Next up, we have Enru's Great Space Mission Volume 35 and Education and Paintings, the Ancient Moonanites with Wings. Enru finds a mural depicting the moon people with wings, creating the machine people.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. I feel like, I'm just theorizing here, but I feel like we have seen characters with wings.
We have.
In the world of One Piece. And they were closer to the moon than anywhere else. And I feel like even some of the, like one of them was wearing a headdress.
Yeah.
And if you look at the character all the way on the left that in the depiction, they've got the little head, like look at the head.
Like the antenna type
piece,
things.
The antenna like things. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm thinking that maybe the Shandians descended from the Moon Knights.
Possibly.
I don't know. Do you have any theories?
Or
I feel like there's something here to be interpreted.
Yeah, it's like, well, did they make this like robot army to be sent down to Earth? So like, is this like a factory that they had on the moon, where they came from, and they created these machines, and they were sent out to do some kind of mission? Like, were they created to be soldiers, like to be like an army?
I mean, they are dressed like little warriors. Like they're dressed like, one of them's dressed like a World War II person. One's that dressed like a samurai. One's dressed like a knight, like a medieval knight. Like they're all dressed like little warriors. So that could be interpreted that way.
Yeah. Well, these ones in particular, I don't know if they were specifically created by Dr. Tsukimi, but it seems like at least Lieutenant Spacey was, or he was at least maybe repaired. Like he could have like found them on the ground that fell from the moon, and he could have like repaired them. But either way, it does seem like they have some kind of soldier qualities to them, and like the rest of them could also be created to be warriors too.
Yeah, they are depicted to have like helmets and spears, it looks like.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be that the Skypians had initially come from the moon.
That was what I was like thinking.
Yeah.
Just through the depictions of the people here. Which would make sense, because like when we were during the Skypiea chapter, like why do these people have wings? Like no one else has wings. Like why do these people have wings?
It's starting to make a little bit more sense.
It's just unexplained. It's just like, yeah, these people just have wings and antennae. And
have you ever seen Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
A little bit. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, because I think it's funny that these people referred to as Moon Knights, but they're the Moon Knights in Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like the little 8-bit type characters. Yeah, they were also called the Moon Knights, so that's what this makes me think of. It's the Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
That's funny.
All right, but how about we wrap up the volume with chapter 470, Oars versus Straw Hat Pirates. Oars defeats Sanji after recognizing his wanted poster that looks just like him. Robin recognizes the name Oars as the legendary beast that was known as the Continent Polar. In an attempt to save Sanji, Usopp fires at Oars, getting his attention. Zoro tells Frankie to get the monster's attention away from their friends, which works, as Oars suddenly appears and destroys the building that they were on. Zoro tries to slash the beast, but only manages to cut a tooth before he dodged the slash. Zoro was vulnerable in midair and gets smacked upward. Frankie tries to attack Oars, but Oars takes a building and smashes it at Frankie and Brook. Robin managed to catch Zoro using her devil fruit powers to make a net. Usopp shoots salt into Oars' mouth, but seems to be too small of an amount to have any effect on such a large body. Oars smashes another building on the bridge Usopp, Chopper, and Robin were standing on, defeating all of the Straw Hats.
Damn.
Well, they had a good run.
Well, and that was the end of the Straw Hats. Now we're going to follow Oars in his coup to pursue King of the Pirates.
Well, he is on the cover of this one, so.
That's true. Very transitional moment in the One Piece series. But seriously, Oars is a very formidable opponent and is kicking some ass right now, unfortunately. The entire Straw Hat crew is down for the count. Not good.
Yeah, but I like how he has like the wanted posters like on his arm.
Yeah.
And like he uses them as a reference, and when he sees the Sanji poster, like he says how it looks just like it.
It's a good running joke.
Yeah. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, this is looking bleak. Not a whole lot to say that, Oars is giving them a run for their money.
Yeah.
If only the Straw Hats had a large monster that they could use to fight Oars.
If only.
If only that, have him pick on somebody his own size.
I do like the detail that Robin was familiar with the Beast of Oars. Like this information was like well known enough that like Robin was able to research it.
Yep.
So it was a long time ago, but Robin knows like the legend of the content puller.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
Of course, cool that Robin would know.
Yeah. And they do kind of allude to that earlier too, when Moria is describing like why like Oars, the legendary whatever.
Yeah, like we as a reader know because Moria is familiar with it, but like the fact that Robin's the one that knows, I think it's interesting because he's the archaeologist.
Yep.
Like the other ones wouldn't, like the other members of the crew wouldn't know.
Totally.
But would you have a good sense of teamwork where they're looking out for each other? Like they're trying to make it so their friends aren't getting hurt?
Yep. Robin with the net to catch Zoro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all looking out for each other, but Oars is just overpowering everybody.
Yeah. He suddenly appears like where Zoro and Frankie were and just like smashes a building over.
Brutal. A fearsome opponent.
But even with the 3 swords, Zoro was not able to defeat Oars.
Yeah, that's true. Did he use it?
Yeah.
He did.
Because he does the 1 gorilla, 2 gorilla, 3 sword style, double gorilla split, and that's when he cuts the tooth off. But Oars seems to be able to dodge it in time.
Somehow and kick him. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
So fast.
Right in the air.
Yeah. Gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky for the Straw Hats.
It looks like once again Zoro is now going to have another fall.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of end on this bummer of a note where all the Straw Hats just got defeated.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Very excited to see how they get out of this one. Might cost them some shadows.
Possibly. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it for I think the chapter and the volume as a whole.
Yeah, kind of leaves on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was a really fun chapter. I feel like each of our Straw Hats had like pretty cool moments throughout. I was particularly pumped about Zoro's battle and acquiring a new sword. Super stoked.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it's kind of cool seeing Luffy also being the target as well as the only Straw Hat currently standing.
Yeah. Well, so, Nami has to hopefully wake up at some point.
Oh, that's true. Nami was taken by Absalom. We don't know. She was drugged.
She's kind of the picture. Yeah, she's currently knocked out. Yeah, but like while this is happening, Luffy's like playing he has like a wild goose chase with Moria just running after.
Yep. Yeah, who's also a very formidable opponent on his own. So it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I think we had a pretty good volume here. Yeah, some good, some bad, but overall very entertaining. Definitely interesting stuff. But excited to see the next parts and where this goes.
Me too. Very excited. Luffy versus Luffy. Maybe.
I seem to see where things may be heading, but
it might be.
We'll just have to see. Yeah, so I think for the next episode, unfortunately, we're going to take a break from the manga, but we're going to cover the one-shot episode for Monsters on Netflix, which is not an episode of One Piece, but it directly ties into the canon of One Piece, especially after this volume, specifically the Zoro and the Ryuma fight. We'll actually have more insight into some of the backstory here. So we'll be covering that on the next episode, and then we'll resume with our manga discussion with volume 49.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so that should be pretty fun. But for now, that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to you where we record the podcast, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at wearereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show, or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, just let us know. But that will be it for today. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Evan.
Thanks for listening.
And be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.